Hello, I'm Keston. In the previous video, we talked about student learning outcomes. In this video, we're going to go to the next step, which is the curriculum map. So what is a curriculum map? It answers a key question. Where theoretically should students pick up the knowledge and skills specified by the student learning outcomes? To dig in, let's return to our favorite hypothetical program, the BA in Comic Book Collectibles. In the last video, we talked about 3 SLOs for the program. For brevity, I'll refer to them in shorthand. Identify, write, and estimate. Now imagine this program has 6 required courses. We've got CBC 201, Introduction to Comic Books, CBC 215, The Practicum, CBC 301, Ages of Comics, CBC 401, Introduction of the Client, CBC 402, Advanced Pricing, and the program culminates with CBC 480, the Capstone. A curriculum map shows where, across these courses, students engage with each SLO. Let's start with SLO 1, Identify, and the simplest mapping strategy, which I like to call X marks the spot. And don't worry, we'll get to more sophisticated strategies later. Let's say the faculty review their courses and decide the CBC 201, 301, and 480 map on to this SLO. And there it is, we've mapped SLO 1. Here's what a full curriculum map using this strategy might look like. You can already see where learning is happening or not. Now imagine, later in the process, you find out that students aren't doing so well on the identification test. You go back to the curriculum map and find this. Only CBC 201 has some coverage. Maybe one course just isn't enough. The results from the test and a look at this curriculum map may open up a conversation about why they're seeing the results they are. This is a chance to talk with the instructors of that course. They might offer insights, or we may need to expand instruction elsewhere. Before we move on, 2 quick rules of thumb. Every SLO should have at least one required course mapped onto it. And every required course should map onto at least one SLO. Given those rules of thumb, what's wrong with this curriculum map? You likely spotted that Student Learning Outcome 2 has no coverage, and that CBC 401 does not correspond to any SLO. Both are red flags. If SLO 2 isn't truly essential, maybe it needs to be replaced with something more central to the program. However, if it is important, it's time to get cracking and build SLO 2 into the curriculum. As for CBC 401, if a required course doesn't map onto any program level SLO, that's a problem. Is there a shadow SLO that hasn't been defined yet? Or is the course just not relevant anymore? Either way, it needs to be addressed. Now let's level up. Some of you might be thinking, what does that X actually mean? Maybe in CBC 201, it's just a 1-hour lecture. But in CBC 301, the whole course revolves around that SLO. They both get an X. That doesn't seem quite right. That's why I'm not a big fan of X marks the spot. It hides important details. A better approach is using intensity mapping. For example, you could put 0, which means no coverage, 1 equal minor coverage, a 2, moderate, and 3 equals major. So for SLO 1, CBC 201 might be a 1, CBC 301 a 3, and CBC 480 a 2. Here's what a full intensity map might look like. This gives faculty and anyone else reviewing it way more context. Oh, and did you catch this? Despite having 4 courses mapped to SLO 3, the coverage is minimal. That's still a concern. The point being is that somebody could understand the curriculum better with an intensity map than just X marks the spot. Let's go to another popular approach. It's the method. Okay, I call it that. It's IRM. The I stands for introduce, R is reinforce, and M is master. This method shows how the program scaffolds its courses to help students learn the SLOs. The faculty introduce a concept, reinforce it later, and then eventually students can master the concept in a particular course. Much more informative than the X's. Plus, if you wanted to get extra fancy, you could combine the intensity mapping and the method, which might look something like this, giving a fuller picture of when, how, and how much each SLO is taught. Let's zoom out for a minute. At this point, we haven't collected any data on student performance, but already just building the curriculum map helps us identify gaps and make changes. It can be a really powerful tool because here's the truth. If our programs don't make sense on paper, there's no way it's going to work for students in real life. Oh my goodness, did you hear it? It's the elephant in the room. What if the curriculum on paper doesn't match what's actually happening in the classroom. Have you ever taken a course and your experience is totally different than your friend who's in a different section? That's an issue of implementation fidelity. And we'll talk more about that in a future video. Up next, we'll dive into instruments, the test, rubric, surveys, and other tools that help us measure what students are actually learning. You can check out that video here. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around real soon.